Welcome to Conversations with Candidates. I'm Thor Jourgensen, news editor of the Daily Item, itemlive.com. Our guest is Democratic candidate for Essex Sheriff, Jerry Robito. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
Quite welcome. Would you tell us a little about your background, please, and why are you running for sheriff?
Sure. I started my career in 1975. I worked my way up through the ranks in the Lawrence Jail. The Lawrence Jail closed in 1991. I then got promoted to captain. I ran the gym in Middleton for 2 or 3 years. I then transferred to the CAC, which was a kind of interesting position I held back there. And that job was getting inmates jobs in the community. Trying to sell why it's important to get an inmate a job in the community, different companies, to try to keep these kids on the right track. The problem we ran into at the time was that a lot of these companies were looking for people that had trades, they were marketable. Unfortunately, today as we speak, in Middleton they have a program, they have 2 programs. They have a drug and alcohol program, and you can get your GED. The problem with a GED is if an inmate's in jail for a year or 2 and gets out and goes for a job interview and says, my name is Tom Smith, I've been in jail for 2 years, I have a GED, it's more than likely he's not going to be able to get a job. Whereas there's a lot of companies out there that on a regular basis would have asked me, or did ask me, any of these guys get trades, small engine repair, automotive, plumbing, whatever it may be. As we speak today in Middleton, inmates come to jail, so the portion of inmates that don't go to the drug and alcohol program or don't get a GED basically sit on their units and they watch TV. There's 3 TVs on the units. One is in Spanish, one is in English, and one is sports. It's not conducive for rehabilitation, bringing an inmate into the jail and just letting them sitting there all day watching TV. So I would incorporate trades into the facility, teach them their trades, get them jobs before they get out. Once they get out, we monitor them because it's a known fact with the opiate problem. If an inmate comes to jail and does go through the drug and alcohol program, let him out the door on his release, say see you later, he's coming back. He needs that aftercare program. There has to be an aftercare program in place. Not only that, the drug and alcohol program in place as we speak, as far as I'm concerned, it's not working out well. Just 3 weeks ago, they had 7 inmates OD incarcerated in jail. That's very disturbing. These are inmates that are down the farm, that went through the drug and alcohol program, that we're trying to get back into society, and yet they're doing drugs and they were actually rushed to the hospital. 7 in 1 week. That's mind-boggling. So clearly this program's not working, and we need to do something about it. I've looked out and researched through the federal government. Federal prisons have some more in-depth programs in place. These are things we need to incorporate in our place in Middleton.
What are you doing now in the jail, and what prompted you to run for sheriff?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a good question. I retired in 2009. 6 years prior to me retiring, I was in charge of housing where inmates live. I was responsible for the care, custody, and control of over 1,200 inmates and 300 officers. I dealt with lawyers, I dealt with doctors, I dealt with family members, I dealt with inmates' deaths in their families. I've worked my entire career in the Essex County Sheriff's Department. If you were to take a person on a police department and take him, the chances are very good he's worked his way up through the ranks to become a chief of police. Same thing should apply in a jail. Someone that's actually worked inside understands the dynamics of the inmates, what the good, the bad, what needs to be changed. So my last 6 years, I ran the jail, and I retired in 2009, as I said. I now currently work for security for the IRS part-time. So basically, my intentions are to come out of retirement and go in as sheriff of Essex County.
What, in your view, is the biggest change that needs to occur in the sheriff's department in Essex County?
Well, there's a couple of things. I'm fortunate enough to have a group that I work with that feed the homeless. To my surprise, in the last 6 months, I've gone under the bridge in Lawrence to feed the homeless. There was probably at least a half a dozen people under there that were in Middleton. These people that went to jail, they're warehoused. Come to jail, watch TV all day long, don't learn any trades, end up going back out into society, and a good portion of them are homeless, nowhere to go, so they're back under the bridge. So we got to focus in on the homeless. We got to get these people jobs, get them educations, get them on a good start. We got to do the same thing with drug addicts. We got to get them through the programs, a good program, and work with them once they get out of jail so they don't fall back into that vicious cycle. And in turn, who saves? The taxpayers save, and people, the citizens and residents of Essex County don't have to worry about these guys breaking into their houses. So that's a couple of things that we definitely need to do.
How does the sheriff, from your experience, the sheriff's department, work with other law enforcement in Essex County? What's the working relationship? How would you improve on it?
Okay, well, that's another interesting question. I believe, first and foremost, the jail comes first. The jail is under capacity right now. They're having 29 to 30 holdovers every single day at the jail. 2 weeks ago, the overtime for 1 week was $280,000. So first things first, the jail, we have to get up to 100%. Once we're up to 100% of staffing, because if you think about it, if an officer works the jail for 8 hours and is they're forced to work 16 hours a day, working with inmates, bad criminals, that's taxing. Very taxing. So first things first, we got to get the house up to 100%. Then we want to help out these different communities, as they've been doing for several years.
This has been Conversations with Candidates. Our guest is Jerry Robito, Democratic candidate for Essex Sheriff. I'm Thor Jourgensen, news editor of the Daily Item, itemlive.com. Remember to vote on Thursday, September 8th. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.